that was my reaction from today's live stream. I was watching it, I was like, oh, they're gonna show us some stuff. And they mostly talked, and they did share some really good information, but overall the live stream was a little limp. And Ruby almost recovered it at the end. She was like, oh, let's talk about the mastery system. And I'm like, oh, here it comes. You can
do a little better, but we won't talk about that today, so.
Actually, you know what? We should talk about masteries for just a second.
The warrior, they're gonna switch his weapons, and they're gonna reveal the specialization. Oh, they're gonna show the glider. They're gonna show how you can level up mastery.
But we are going to bring our expansion systems designer Dave Webb and our expansion content designer Nellie Hughes on next Wednesday for an extra episode of POI.
Yeah, sad panda. But we still got a lot of information in this, and of course, this is, you know, they're teasing. They're making people watch more of the live streams. They're putting little bits and itty bitties everywhere, kind of like what they did with the interviews. Yes, we're all excited. Yes, we want to see all that now. Was it necessarily a bad live stream? No, there was a lot of information revealed, but we were just so focused on seeing everything, except for, you know, actually hearing everything. So I actually had to, you know, listen to it back to kind of turn my brain off from like, oh my gosh, this was a little bit disappointing, and actually hear what they were saying. And I got a few points that we could talk about. So for those who missed it, of course, I'm gonna leave a link down below so you can watch the live stream for yourself. But they showed a little bit of Heart of Thorns, okay? They showed a very, very small little piece of the map. Very tiny. They press M and the map comes up and you're like, oh, okay, so you guys are doing this like that. Okay. But in this, they showed an event and some adventures, or adventure, and the adventure wasn't particularly fun looking. It seemed like a regular quest. But first, let's talk about the sniping. Now, the sniping, it looks pretty great. First, I would probably like to be able to aim it, but I guess this is a little bit more of, you know, you have to kind of guide the shot if the enemies are moving. So when it hits in that circle, in that targeted area, then it would hit the monster. So it's a little bit more skill involved instead of just like, you know, clicking and just pressing 1. You know, and I thought that was really cool. But the best part is that, first of all, the monsters look really cool in the background. You can see the detail just from being that far away. And I was like, wow, okay, they are improving some of the graphics here. Man, I want to see the rest of the map, and it just gets me more, you know, I want to see more. Anyways, they said that this is going to be like they're going to bring in more cooperative events like this one, which is you're on a hill, so you can pick up a gun and snipe from the hill, and then people can be down there fighting the monsters as well, so you can actually give them cover. Now, this is a very cool concept. I would love to see more events like this, and this is showing the verticality. This word has been thrown around so many times. Verticality of this event here. So you're like way, you know, in a corner on this cliff, and you can be helping people that are like far away down there, which I don't know how that's gonna work with just tons of people being on the map. I wonder if you're gonna be able to see them if you have a potato. If you're running on a potato, then good luck. So from that, they went to the adventures, and by the way, the map looks really good from what we have seen. Like the detail in the helicopter flying down and crashing. I thought that was a really cool touch. Stuff like that just makes the map feel more full instead of it being like a big empty wasteland, which I do not like. So the guy in there said there's going to be few maps, but they're going to be more juicy. There's going to be more in it. Replay value is one of the biggest things, and they did say that for, of course, the adventures, being able to keep replaying adventures over and over and over again. And I wonder, they said 3 biomes, so it's at least going to be 3 maps, at least. But maybe it's not as many maps as, you know, we think it is. Maybe it's 4. Maybe it's the 3 biomes, you know, that have like they're just huge maps with huge events and stuff to explore in, and use the glider, because you can't use a small map and a glider. I want to get up from one end of the map and then fly all the way to the other end of the map using air currents and all that. I want to be able to do that, you know, floating through circles. It'll be like Superman 64. We all know how good that game was. That game is good. Anyways, adventures. They said this is going to be heavily tied to masteries, and that you're going to be able to do adventures better because you know you leveled up in the masteries, meaning you'll get better times and I guess better rewards. I'm assuming there's going to be rewards tied to adventures other than, you know, just the regular XP and stuff like that, which will also go to masteries. I guess the reward is being better than everyone else on the leaderboard in your friends list. The developer Anthony, he was also saying that they are going to bring back, you know, old mini games such as the shooting galleries and the races. So I'm assuming Sanctum Sprint might be one of the adventures. That would be really cool, especially if you get to play with your friends, which they haven't really said anything about. They're like, oh, are you going to revamp it into adventures and, you know, have leaderboards and be able to play with friends, and you can have guild events and just tournaments and stuff like that. If they make a really good mini game, like for instance, you know, the Dragon Ball Z arena that we had last time, that would be pretty cool to actually see in this one, and have that as a leaderboard that you can always go back to. It's like, oh, okay, you know, you finally beat my score, I can go back and do it. You know, there's always incentive to go back and beat each other's scores and play and stuff like that. If everything is tied together, everything is tied to the mastery system, everything is tied to I don't know, a adventure track on the mastery track list. But let's get to the more disappointing part, which is the adventure. Now, this is going to be the PAX demo. I'm pretty sure not all of this, because everything as a whole was pretty underwhelming, other than the information that they spit out of their mouths. The footage itself was very boring to look at. And this was, because you know, we haven't played it ourselves, so we can't really judge it like, oh, maybe it's a little bit fun. But the way it looks is, in this first adventure, you see this big flag that that you can start the adventure with, and you can go back if you die during the adventure, if it's a jumping puzzle or anything like that, you can actually go back to this flag. But you start the adventure at this flag, and you can pick up a flame thrower, which is the one that they showed here, and you basically just shoot vines down. That's basically the event. There's little trolls that will come and follow you and try to make it harder for you, but you're supposed to get the best time and I guess the best amount of vines done in a certain time limit, and that was the adventure. That's basically what it showed. It had two skills. One was just like a good spray, like the one that you get, oh man, the one that you get in Fireheart Rise? No, the one, what's the Shatterer map? What's the Shatterer map? The Shatterer map. That's And the second skill is one where you can shoot a big ball of fire, like an Hadouken, to the you know, different areas of this I guess broken airship, which were the vines, you know, were crawling all over. Very underwhelming, like I said before. Hopefully they have more adventures to show in that PAX demo, because this is not something that someone who hasn't played the game is going to sit there, play it at PAX and be like, oh, I gotta get this game. No, that's not going to be it. Alright, question time. Do you think the Revenant will be a heavy armor class with only one weapon? I definitely think this is the way it's going. I always had this concept of it being kind of like an Ellie, but except it's a heavy armor class. Of course, obviously it is, and that it's you're able to swap between attunements, which is the mist powers. You're able to swap between mist powers while holding one weapon. I think that is definitely the way the Revenant is going. I could be wrong, of course, obviously. I'm wondering though, is it gonna be just 4 mist powers, you know, from spirits? Is it gonna stick with that same amount? I wonder if it's gonna be a little bit more. I feel like it's gonna be too many skills if you're able to swap from one weapon to another, and you know, have like 4 attunements. You know, like that's gonna be too much, I think. So definitely, I do think it's gonna be unswappable, and I think maybe it might be like 4 or 5 different mist powers. We already know 2 of them already. The Dwarf King and the Demon Lord. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they come up with and how many skills you're going to have to mess with during the time. And they make it sound like it doesn't fit into Guild Wars 2, the way how they're saying how you're going to be able to suck conditions and give it to the enemy and stuff like that. Oof, I wonder about that. I really wonder, because it's gonna change with each weapon. Okay, I'm not gonna think about it. Do you think the legendary weapon will have a specific look to it depending on where your journey leads you when you're gaining your precursor? I'm assuming you're meaning if there is a quest-based system to acquire the precursor, is it gonna look like the cave that you grab it in, like the Excalibur? Can you imagine if they have like a Excalibur sword legendary, and you have to go inside this cave and pull the precursor outside of a stone? That would be crazy, but I doubt that it's going to be so adventuristic like that. I mean, come on, they've been working on it for a while, but I feel like I don't have high hopes for it to be so quest-based like that. I feel like it's going to be, hopefully, that's what I'm hoping, that it's quest-based, but it's probably going to be, you playing the game, unlocking mastery tracks, and getting materials formed with that. Icy Cave, or Crystal Cave, and the legendary kind of looks like that, if they're doing a quest-based system, and you get the precursor by talking to an NPC that's randomly in there now, that's just specifically for giving you the precursor after you get all the materials, and he like has this big forge in these imagine that. Imagine the map, and they make these areas, these new areas, these little small little caves in each area of the map. Maybe one is near a jumping puzzle, right? Maybe one is in World v World, and they have these little crevices where you're gonna find this NPC where, and maybe you have like a scavenger hunt to get there, right? And scavenger hunt, throwing in names there. And you meet this NPC, and they have like this big forge where you can throw all these items that you got from the mastery track, or just by exploring the world, and you make your precursor there. That would be fascinating and pretty fun. Maybe, of course, it's probably going to be amazing for the first couple times, but of course people are going to be like, oh, it's going to get old and blah, blah. Well, everything gets old eventually, and everything gets repetitive eventually. But that would be a very interesting concept. Thank you for that question. It's nice. What do you think about the concept art they showed on stream? And he talks about the houses and the Sephirites and stuff like that. And I don't know, the one that always comes to mind, there's a screenshot that comes to mind, and then there's a concept art that comes to mind. The one for guild halls, and it makes me think how big these guild halls are going to be. Are these going to have, are you going to be able to build your own? Are there going to be plots, plots and plugs and sockets that you can, upgrade to get a better, a better house or a better station for crafting materials, and being able to have a mystic forge? You have to kind of like do all these guild missions and stuff like that just to get those things. But I do like this screenshot that I got in the press pack, which is this very dark cloud, and it has a very dark feel to it, and I'm like, man, what is this area? What is this area of the map? Well, is this like one of the end areas where you're gonna fight Morjamoth? And I really wonder if we're gonna kill the dragon in this expansion. Are they gonna end it off like that? I know there's gonna be something major has to happen in the expansion, right? To be like considered like, oh man, this is a full-fledged out expansion with a story and blah blah blah. Even though they kind of going on this, we're gonna extend the story after expansion with living story, just like we always do, and blah 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 blah. But I definitely would like to see maybe that area, we burn this whole area trying to get all the vines away, and it ends up being very broken and cracked ground, like deserty, with broken trees and stuff, and you just kind of see the waste of that. It reminds me of ore, and how the ore doesn't look like that in the personal story after you kind of restore ore to the way it should look, and it kind of stays that way in the regular story. It makes me think about that. It's like, man, this would be cool if we actually get to see it burnt away. Like if we go inside of an instance and it's all jungly, and then all of a sudden it gets all burnt away, and that's when you jump into that next map and you see like everything's just destroyed. That's cool. That's cool. Next question is, are you gonna get footage at PAX? I don't know if I'm gonna get footage at PAX, but I know I'm gonna get footage. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. What am I saying? I don't know if I'm getting footage. What are you saying, dude? Maybe. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of the live stream. Was it, lacking in the juicy factor? Or was it just right? Is it what you expected to see? They haven't really released a ton of info. Well, they released enough to the point that we thought we were going to at least see some mastery tracks, maybe. I thought we were going to see some mastery tracks and some adventures and outposts. I thought that's what we were going to see because we just had 2 blog posts about it. So I thought that's what we were going to see. Even though we did see adventures, it was kind of okay, So yeah. Anyways, guys, I will see you later. Stay visual and have a safe day. I felt like I could do a little bit better there. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay visual, or you might disappear. This is true. It's true.